What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here, joined by old friend of the show, of the program, of the channel, Tyler Brooke. How are you, Tyler?
I'm doing great. It's week of training camp.
Let's
Everything just
go.
feels so exciting. There's hope in the air. Players are making plays on Twitter that we're all going to overreact to. That's my
So
favorite
good.
time of year. I watch one clip of a player from any team, and then I will speculate wildly about it, and that will decide my opinion on them for the rest of the season.
For the whole summer, at least,
Yeah,
until we get into the
no,
regular
whole
season and
season. I'll
stuff
go whole
happens. You
season.
got to hold on to those priors. Yeah, I get it. Well, one guy we did want to talk about heading into this season, year 2 for Edgerrin Cooper, the inside backer for the Green Bay Packers, a player who, man, I think we all saw the potential last year. We saw the athleticism. We saw the playmaking ability. It's incredible. But it's funny to go back and kind of look through some of the coverage of his rookie season because the quotes from Matt LaFleur are pretty consistent through, I want to say, like November. And I know he missed some time with a couple of different injuries, etc. But every time anyone asked him about Cooper's play, he always, almost to a week, led with, well, there's still a lot to clean up. There's still a lot of work to be done. A lot of kind of, he's in the wrong gap here, or he's misreading that there, or he's overrunning that. And it's funny because in the moment of a game where you see a guy making a play, right? He was seemingly every week down the stretch there in the backfield, right? You saw a guy who certainly was able to jump snap counts and get his way through the wash and make tackles for loss. That's exciting and it gets you excited. But then you turn on the tape and you see the things Matt LaFleur is talking about. And I did want to talk to you because I know you're working on a video that you're going to be launching, I believe, next week with your new YouTube channel on Monday. So we'll link to in the description of this video where people can check out the channel and everything you're doing over there at Best Available. But I wanted to talk to you about Edgerrin Cooper because it's a guy, man, the sky is the limit for this kid if and when he cleans up those details.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the things he needs to work on because they are obviously there, right? Like over pursuing, maybe bad pursuit angles, just being in the right position and kind of like trusting your keys, whether that's the guard or the running back or, a tight end. Some of that stuff is. I always think about like a basketball player as they get more comfortable in their career. You see them stop hesitating on their moves, right? Like it's almost like you're processing and trying to do it one step at a time instead of one fluid motion. And you can kind of see that at times with Cooper. But I think that's what makes the upside on him even more terrifying. This is a guy that had the most tackles for a loss by a rookie since Clay Matthews. He is just an unbelievable talent on a build that isn't like most linebackers. You think of these like 240 rocked up guys, right? But he's a little bit on the leaner end, but it helps him with his speed and he's not sacrificing strength with that frame. It's just the talent oozes and allows him to make up for a lot of those deficiencies. So once he does clean up some of that, and I'm going to talk about this in my video, I genuinely think, Fred Warner's on the downhill in the next year too. I think Edgerrin Cooper could become the best linebacker in the National Football League.
I mean, that is high praise and that is high expectations. And like you indicated there, I mean, the athleticism jumps off the screen or the field if you're
that boy fast, right?
I mean, there's a play in the Rams game last year on his sack of Matthew Stafford where you can tell Stafford thinks he has way more time than he does, right? The ability to close ground in the blink of an eye obviously serves him well, but I'm kind of fascinated to see how many more ways Jeff Hafley can kind of utilize that athleticism, because I do think because he was thinking a bit last year, and you put it perfectly there as far as like it was almost segmented, right, or fragmented as opposed to just flowing in the defense, whatever his assignment was. And I got to think there's an ability here now with the makeup of that linebacker group, especially with the addition of Isaiah Simmons and his athleticism, where it almost becomes scary as a defensive coordinator as far as how many different ways you can utilize all these different skill sets. I do think there's coverage things we saw with Cooper last year where you have him covering receivers 25 yards down the field. Well, now you can do that with Simmons and allow Cooper to just reign free and get after the quarterback and do some of the more physical things that I think you saw is a real boon for his game.
I want to see more of Edge on the edge. I think there's some legitimate value he can bring as a pass rusher.
Agreed.
One of the things I keep thinking about, because we saw some flashes of on the season, If you can move edge on to the edge, you can put Rashawn Gary over the center. We saw some of that. Gary clearly loves it. He's dancing around.
The slow walk up to the center. I think that was the Bears game, right?
Yeah.
He's doing like a crossover move on his way up.
Just having fun with it. But I think it's one of the things I really love about Hafley is he knows the strengths of his players and he's trying to put them in the right positions. I don't mind Cooper in coverage because I do think he can still be an asset there. I think there's some condensed formations where you can even consider him almost as this star slot guy because he's just so dang big in certain matchups. I do not want him against some of these elite route runners. If he's against Devontae Adams in the slot, I'm sweating a little bit. But I just love the versatility and the skill set because I think there's so many things you can do with them. And I keep going back to, let's say they're playing a mobile quarterback again this year. Cooper's college tape against Alabama is some of my favorite tape of any prospect the last few seasons because basically all they did is you're just going to spy Jalen Milroe this game. And it completely disrupted everything Alabama was doing because they no longer had that threat of Milroe escaping the pocket. Getting Cooper on some roles like that in certain games, I think can be an absolute nightmare.
I love that idea too, because you saw last year because of the threat of so many of the running quarterbacks they faced, especially early in the season where your front four was a bit hemmed in trying to maintain those rush lanes, but it seemed to kind of neuter their ability to get upfield and get after the quarterback. If you utilize Cooper and his athleticism as more of a spy in certain situations, I think that allows your front four to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback and not worry so much about contain because you got that guy behind you he's not getting outrun to the corner. He's not getting now maybe the quarterback makes a play downfield with his arm, but you've certainly got a guy to clean that up in Cooper if you kind of utilize him that way.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And obviously a big part of that's got to be that the pass rush steps up or takes the next step.
One would hope.
I'm very bullish on Rashawn Gary taking a step forward. I think a lot of people are disappointed by the pass rush production, but I thought he was so improved against the run, drastically.
Yeah.
And if you can get back to those pass rushing ways, because I do think there's a lot of ability there, hopefully Van Ness can take a step up. And then I really like the rookie Baron Sorrell. I think that kid's tape was kick ass, honestly. So when they drafted him, honestly, I was pretty shocked he was still available. I think there's enough pieces there on the pass rush. If that can get home and allow Cooper to be more of that spy to clean up stuff, I think that the pass rush was such a clear weak link of the defense last year, and they were still successful. Any kind of improvement on the pass rush angle is going to make this defense even scarier.
When you're looking at Cooper, say, for this season, right? And hell, last year, he was a defensive player of the month, right? A couple of times. And that was after missing a whole bunch of time in the middle of the season. I just wonder what to you, you're looking at last year's tape and then projecting to where he might go in year two. What's your ceiling in year two in the NFL and Hafley's defense? Because, man, it feels limitless, right? It feels like I don't want to put the cart before the horse. A lot of ball game left. They still have to put pads on at training camp, right? There's a long way to go. But, man, the raw tools are there, and it certainly would suggest, looking at his rookie tape, that if he can stay on the field, man, he could be a star in this league.
I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I've watched a lot of tape on this guy. Clearly, he was one of my favorite prospects coming out when the Packers drafted him. And I know that might put some rose-colored lenses on things. But going back to watch it for this video on Monday, it's all pro. All pro is the ceiling here. Nice. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I think it depends on two things. One, obviously, he's got to stay healthy. And the other thing is, I think Quay Walker's got to be a part of that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Quay Walker had some bad moments last year, but I do think there were times where I really saw what the full potential of him can be more consistently than it's been in previous years. And with him alongside Cooper, what he can do is be that true traditional thumper role, take on the blocks and make sure that he's not getting washed out. By doing that and reacting early, he opens up the lanes for Cooper to clean up stuff. You need both of those guys on the field. And I think if both of them stay healthy, Walker has his head right and can play a whole season consistently. That's where I think actually Cooper's ceiling as an all-pro really happens.
I very much agree with you because I do think you saw just the start, a glimpse of that in the playoff game, because it was kind of the first time they both had dealt with kind of extensive, elongated injury.
And at different times.
So they were never really, once Cooper had become kind of more familiar with the defense and kind of really kind of knew his stuff and knew where to be, etc., But then Quay was hurt for a time. And then once they finally got back on the field together in that playoff game, like I said, I think you saw the beginning of something could be pretty darn good. I agree.
Yeah.
I very much agree there.
I've tried to be the biggest Quay Walker defender there is, because like
he needs it.
His play style is never going to be splashy. It's just
Right.
not the way he operates.
Yep.
But if he plays to what his role and potential is, it's just a necessary piece of a defense. So I'm really hoping we see that this year.
Very much agree. Well, I cannot wait to check out the Edgerrin Cooper video on your YouTube channel. Like I said, we've got a link in the description of this video. Make sure you subscribe to Tyler's new endeavor over there. Tyler, thank you so much for the time, man.
Of course. Go Pack Go. Can't wait.